Okay, what is a mission? So we're talking about vision. We have a purpose, we have core values, and a mission, right? The mission here is the what. What are you going to accomplish? Let's just say the next 3 to 5 years. It's your big, hairy, audacious goal. It has a clear finish line, specific time frame, and once it's completed, you can set a new mission, right? But essentially, it's the thing that's going to help you get to where you're trying to go. So a BHAG. Who's heard of a BHAG before? It's fairly common now. I didn't, it's been around for many years in business books and things like that. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? It's like a big mountain to climb. You have a clear finish line at the top, but your chances of succeeding are not 100%, right? It's going to require that you leap in your capabilities in the things you're doing today. It's also compelling and galvanizing. It's easy to grasp. Think about it again in 3 to 5 years, right? It's that, all right, I'm going to go do this huge thing that I have no idea how to do. And it's usually aligned with your purpose, right? I'm going to give you some examples. We're going to put a man on the moon in the next decade. Well, that's pretty ambitious at the time, especially, right, that nobody had ever put a man on the moon. But it's a great example of BHAG. It's like, okay, I'm going to go do this huge thing and I'm going to do it in 10 years. So we've got to create all these programs, all these processes, all these things to go get the man on the moon. I'm going to provide life-saving training to 20,000 pilots annually by 2020. We're going to become the preferred power generation company by 2023. We're going to beautify over 660 spaces by the end of 2020. We're going to impact 8,000 lives and collect 2,000 lives by 2025. These are examples of BHAGs. I'm going to go do this thing in a quantifiable way by this date. And again, it's going to be so ambitious that it's going to be really hard for you to do. Why does it matter? Well, a BHAG offers a challenge to employees and makes them grow personally. It inspires everyone and makes them work harder and more creatively. It also opens up possibilities you never considered. It's also clear and tangible. We're going to put a man on the moon in 10 years. It moves you away. It should be away. It moves you away from thinking small or settling for less, right? So it keeps our mind. Remember, our purpose is this like 100-year thing that's never attainable. It's about becoming something. This mission is like, okay, what am I going to do? Or what does that actual thing look like? And let's not go 100 years. Let's think 3 years, 5 years. What is that BHAG, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a few minutes. What is your company's BHAG? If you don't know it, your leaders probably haven't communicated this well enough to you. Or if you're a leader, you haven't communicated this well back down. Or maybe you never had one, and this is the first time you're thinking about it. Think about it. You can think about a BHAG in terms of your company. You can think about a BHAG in terms of your department, of yourself, right? So let's take 5 minutes. Think about your purpose. How many people or companies can you impact? What is a goal so crazy that it would almost be impossible to achieve? What's your goal this year, next year, 5 years from now? So here's some things to think about. Let's take 5 minutes and formulate that idea. What is your BHAG? Ready, go. Steve, are you willing to share?
I actually thought you might ask me, Jesse.
Okay. Got the
vibe. This is a really, really good question because even in our initial meetings and stuff, we were talking about meeting with like you and Jason and stuff. We were talking about possible like large goals to look at. But honestly, like the last question, what's your goal this year or next year? We were talking about having 1,000 volunteers in the world teaching children English. And I think that, I wrote down a bunch of different things here. One of the things is I wrote down 10,000 volunteers per year. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the reality is there that if we found things that were duplicatable, that you honestly could grow to that. But I mean, I also understand it's important to keep things how do I say it? To plan, to be responsible for those goals, right? And so I really think that the things that we've talked about in the recent past of like 1,000 volunteers in the next, like, per year in the next like 1 to 2 years would be a pretty good BHAG right now for us.
Yeah, I mean, I love the bigger thinking. 10,000, man, that seems almost unattainable.
Yeah.
Can I get to 10,000? What that does is it forces your mind to be like super creative about this. Like, okay, there's no way I can do this. Is there? Wait, maybe there is a way, like, so I like the ambition. So it's a good job. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
So come back to the vision, right? The vision is really, this framework is like this idea of like, okay, I've got a purpose. I've got these values that are going to get me to that. And then I'm going to go on this mission to go and do that, right? And so that's kind of the exercise we went through. If you break down your BHAG and you can create these smaller missions, right? So let's just take that example of 10,000 volunteers, because I love the idea of this, like, man, it is so much bigger than where we are that I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But what it's going to do is it's going to require me to up level my capabilities, my things, right? Now, we're not going to get there overnight, right? This is a 5-year mission. But what I can do is I can help define the mission points along the way. So let's start with mission number 1. Okay, let's think 1 year from now, right? And guess what? We're going to go and accomplish that mission. And I like this image because it shows us like, hey, it's going to be hard, right? It's going to like, we're going to get to mission number 1, and then we're going to set another mission, and we're going to like fall down, have to go through, swim and go, jump over these spikes. And like, that's the reality of business and life. And it's like this journey that you go on, right? So I want to talk, let's bring it back. Okay, we've got this huge ambitious goal. Let's say that 10,000 volunteers, right? Well, now let's bring it back to mission number 1. What's this year's goal, right? So I love this question. If you could wave the magic wand and accomplish all your goals in 1 year from now, what would that look like? So we're not going to go, okay, I got 10,000. Let's bring it back to earth a little bit, to 1 year. Okay, what would that look like if I could go from now where I'm at to 1,000 volunteers, as an example? Okay, does that align with my purpose, right? Does that goal align with my purpose? So we're going to take another 5 minutes here. What is this year's mission? Wave that magic wand. You accomplished all this year's goals. What does success look like? What does that look like for you?